Hi, Pat the podcast editor here. Do you ever struggle balancing your work life with your home life? Well, today Dan and Lloyd are talking the delicate balance of your personal life with your professional life. Now, we've all experienced it. Sometimes it's just impossible to tune out after a hard day's work, especially when you're passionate about what you do.
If next week you worked less than this week, do you think you'd be happier?
No, I don't think so.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. You'll hear about the actions you can take to put a little space between you and your work. And Lloyd offers some controversial advice.
Just try one weekend, disconnect your emails from your phone and say, I'm not going to look at it till Monday morning.
So you're saying what you should do is ensure that none of your team switch off at the weekend so you can. Is that right?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
Sorry,
not
I've
what I'm saying.
misread that.
No.
So what can you do to help make a little more time for yourself? Stay tuned to find out. Right, let's get stuck in. This is episode 63 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
What is the perfect work-life balance, Lloyd?
Oh, what a question. I think it's completely different for everyone, but how I describe it is balancing the challenges and benefits of life inside and outside of work perfectly for you to be as happy as possible.
How do you know what that balance is for you? Do you know what I mean? Like, if everyone's different, are you a 70-30 kind of person? 70% work?
What, like amount of... Oh,
is that what you mean by balancing it? Like, figuring
I guess
out...
no, I don't necessarily mean so black and white of like, I want to work this percentage of my life and I want to not be working this percentage of my life. But I think it's, you've got a certain amount of brain energy to put towards something. And the reason I said the challenges and benefits is because some people absolutely love work because of what the great feelings they feel from it of achieving these different things in work.
Okay, me.
Yeah. So those benefits. So, you know, a lot of people talk about work-life balance as in like you need to work less.
But that's not necessarily it.
No, not for everyone, because some people actually their work is less stressful than their outside of work life, and that's what they really get fulfillment from. So I do think need to get away from this whole thing of work-life balance is basically saying work less.
Yeah.
For a lot of people it definitely is, but it's not always that way round.
It could also be changing work or what you do at home as well, not necessarily doing more or less of one or the other, but changing. You know, if you're going to work every day and you're hating your life and it's not a nice environment and you're not enjoying it, you could swap that out for a different type of work where you're like absolutely love it.
That's the thing. I think there's probably some at some points people are in roles or they've got a business in some sort of industry and they'll never get work-life balance in that because they'll never enjoy the work side enough or get enough fulfillment from the work side to get the balance. Like, I do think you can be in that kind of place where no amount of shifting, how much shall I work, or like when, or can I change my hours, or can I change? So, and obviously some people are, you know, stuck at times, and we've had
it's not as easy as just saying, do something you love.
We've had experience where we've not wanted to be in jobs previously, and you have a period of time where you have to work out how do I change my situation, and obviously most people can't just go, I'll just stop this and have no money coming in. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some people can, but I think that's very rare.
How do you balance work and life? You know, like you said, it's different for everyone. What about you? I'm intrigued.
As I noticed on the notes that you wrote, you're saying how to balance work life as an entrepreneur. And I don't think I've ever described myself as that. But as Lloyd Knowlton, I think that I am good at this.
I think you're good at this. I think this is a Lloyd episode, definitely.
Okay, cool. Right, I'll keep talking. I really enjoy my work, but I also need my time not to be thinking about it or involved with it. And I do, because I value that so much, and I know that I perform better inside and outside of work if I have the balance
Switch off
right.
time.
I make sure it happens, basically.
How?
So, I got to a point, and it's a constant learning process, but realizing I can cut off and not respond to everything there and then. And obviously sometimes this is probably frustrating for people
who want an instant
within
response.
our team, that it's more helpful to have a response when they message me in the evening or something. But overall, I think it's a good idea. So I think there's two types of people. If you're thinking like, well, I can't cut myself off. Like, I don't have my work emails on my phone. So I have them on my laptop. My laptop's at home, but I actively choose to check them. See what I mean? So I make that choice of being back in work mode.
Yeah.
And if I want to do that in an evening or on a Sunday, I'll do that if it's beneficial for me and for the team, and it makes sense.
You just never want to do that.
I just never want to do that. But I think, there's two types of people. One type of person that's like, I can't do that. I've got to be contactable in case there's an emergency.
Fire.
And I think, so either think back to your experience. How often have you actually been contacted in some kind of emergency situation you have to act on right then? And I think if you genuinely are needed, otherwise you're going to upset your customers, or you're going to lose business, or your business is going to be ruined, I think then you need to take actions so say you're contacted by one of your employees on a Sunday. Oh my God, Brian from Organics Telecoms has said he needs this thing now. I think about it as like, well, why can't that person deal with that issue? I need to train the team to deal with that issue, so I'm not needed at that point when I'm not supposed to be working.
Someone else can help Brian from Organics
someone else.
Telecoms.
You can do work to make sure that you're not needed. Like that's something.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, that's something that you haven't done correctly to not allow yourself to step away. I think there's a bigger proportion of people who think they're needed, but they're
actually not.
Like, think back, and it's the same thing in your personal life where you think, I've got to take my mobile phone in case someone needs to contact me. Like, think back. So for you, how many emergency calls have you received in the last few years? Do you remember any?
I can't remember one, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think that's the same for most people in their personal and work life, but you think you have to be connected all the time.
Yeah.
And I've had one in the last 5 years where I had a call from Sarah's work, from her auntie, because she works at the same place.
Right.
Saying, Lloyd, Sarah's locked Leo in her car and her phone's in there and the fire engine's on its way.
That is mental.
So sometimes there are emergencies. But the thing is, like, you think like you have to be connected all that time, but there's only one time in the last 5 years that I actually needed to be.
And I think people do resort to calling when it's... But the thing is, some people aren't good judges of whether something needs a call or not, and then some people can call you when it's not an emergency as well. So it's like trying to judge, do I answer this call? Because I always think if I don't and then they message, then it's maybe more important. But then
I think like our team here, if something happened outside of work hours that they realised had happened, and Lucas did this recently because he's very good. So something at the weekend, or I think Bank Holiday Monday, something like that, there's a message on Slack and Lucas saw it and he sent me a WhatsApp just saying, I'm not sure if you've seen this.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a good time for me to go into work mode. Like, I should actually help the team deal with this.
So you're saying what you should do is ensure that none of your team switch off at the weekend so you can. Is that right?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
sorry, I
not what I'm
misread that.
No. That's definitely not what I'm saying.
No, but I get that. I think it is about empowering your team to be able to make those decisions as well. Which again this is a classic thing. Like we need to get better at is ensuring your team are experienced enough to be able to take the steps that are needed to fix problems if they need to.
Because we've got a long way to go, but it's definitely really improving. Because obviously we have to make sure our team has confidence to make those decisions and that they know we think that's all right. But also we need to make sure that they have the training and ability to know what to do in those situations and they don't feel stressed to like, oh, this is all on me.
Yeah. So if someone's listening to this and thinking, I probably haven't figured out my work-life balance yet. Because I'm thinking, put yourself, because you're good at this. When you weren't good at this, what did you do to be good at it?
When you weren't good at
having a work-life balance, You've mentioned like you took your emails off your phone, but is there any other kind of practical steps? Me as someone who's not good at this, what advice would you give me to get better at? So empowering your team, switching.
But I think it's work out which of those two people you are. You are genuinely needed more than you feel comfortable being involved with work. And if that's the case, then like you're saying, you need to take the steps to go, why am I needed even when I need to take a break and a step back? Why do I still need to be involved? And like you said, it's probably training other people
to be able to do things.
You might work on your own or with one other people, and then it's just processes of like, why is there an emergency that you're needed? It's kind of also training your clients to know that's not an emergency.
Yeah, and it's not okay to ring me at the weekend.
You might get a call from a client Saturday going, I'm sorry, but we need this blog live. And you think, actually, sometimes you need to say to the client, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I will set that blog live whenever you want me to. And
so it's managing
even if you tell me
then.
in advance, I'll make sure there's someone to set that blog live if you need it on Saturday. But actually, there's nothing that needs a blog to go live that badly.
What if they really want it to go live?
Yeah, exactly. But so, do you see what I mean? So that you need to look at what the issues are and think, why am I needed, and how can I put processes or training in place to make sure I'm not needed? If you're the other one, where actually you're looking at it and thinking,
no one ever needs
I've been like on it 24/7 for the last 5 years. Actually, I'm thinking back, there's only 1 or 2 times I was genuinely needed. Then I think that's more of, you need to set habits into place of, like I said, I would say, just try one weekend, disconnect your emails from your phone and say, I'm not going to look at it till Monday morning, and sort of wean yourself off the constant contact. And because I find it hard to stop thinking about work in my other time, and sometimes I like it because I enjoy thinking about stuff,
but then
sometimes I need to switch off. And disconnecting those digital things that are pinging you saying work stuff is a really good thing.
I remember turning off 99% of my notifications a few years ago, and it's just amazing because other than like WhatsApp or phone calls, I don't get notified of anything, because a lot of those things, it's not important to know them straight away. You can then choose to look at it when you want to, rather than... Yeah,
because we're talking about work-life balance, but actually completely forgetting about the work side. That's a way to balance your other side, to actually just be focusing on the things you want to be focusing on that make you happy, rather than feeling like you're a slave to these notifications coming through. Oh, I need to see how many likes that's got, or I need to read this blog or see this email.
Would you be brave enough to just not like take your phone on holiday, or not take anything like that with you, or switch it off completely in the day?
I personally would be, because I have the we're lucky, we obviously work as partners. I have the trust in you and the team now. I think I haven't always felt like that. I've done that thing of feeling like I'm needed.
Yeah.
But I genuinely, like, I'm going to Tenerife next month,
and I will be calling you.
I don't plan to be answering you.
Yeah. I know, you can answer me because I'll be asking stuff to check you're having a good time.
No, but I mean, I'm not going to be looking for work stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know, also it's doing the preparation, making sure, because if I was going away thinking, cool, our customers are going to have a shit experience next week when I'm not around, I would feel like, well, I definitely need to be checking in. But as long as we do what we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen.
We've encouraged our team to do is like hand over documents. So if anyone's going away on holiday, I'll hand over information to say, right, these are the things I'm responsible for that I need you to help with. This, and this. And it's having those, preparing basically, isn't it? To be able to do that.
I remember having a client a few years ago, and he was saying like, well, of course, when you have a business, you can't have holiday, can you? And he was saying about on holiday, he works every day. And he was sort of just saying it like,
as if it's normal.
There's no choice. And I am completely against that and think there's definitely a choice. Like, I have had holidays while I've been growing this business where I've spoken to you, I've
had some important decisions that we need to make that I'd want you to...
No, but even I've had holidays where it hasn't been that. You've called when we've won an exciting deal because I said, cool, if there's anything exciting.
And you're like,
but you didn't contact me with anything else. And we survived, didn't we? You see what I mean?
I also think we're really lucky to have each other. Like, I do struggle to know how would I guess someone that's in business on their own, I guess they would then employ a management team that can do the stuff that we would do for each other.
Or processes in place that You know, even if you are a one-man band, it's just you, well, one-woman band.
Get a virtual assistant?
Yeah, or something like that. Or there'll be competitors down the road that you could build a relationship with and say, about 4 weeks a year, I'm going to go away. Can we build a bit of a partnership where you can actually get paid for the work, but if there's an emergency with one of my customers,
do you mind?
You facilitate that just while I'm gone. You know, I think it's kind of that ego thing of thinking you have to solve all the problems when actually you don't. It's
that thing I used to do when I didn't know how to delegate, or when I thought I had to do everything, when really there's actually other people who are much better at doing those things.
And it's definitely still work in progress for me, because I still do cling on to things thinking I need to do that. And now I see from the team, when we hand it over, they're doing a brilliant job and just as good as or better than I was doing.
One of our biggest challenges recently is freeing up your time to be doing the good visionary stuff to grow the business and take us further, rather than smaller kind of day-to-day stuff. And that's something we're facing at the moment. We're still, but it was a case of, we've had conversations where it's been like, oh, if I just spend an hour with X person showing them how to do that, I won't have to spend that hour a week doing it.
Yeah.
But we don't do it.
There's even one thing recently where I was kind of thinking, well, in my role, I really need to step back to like the stuff like script writing, because that takes a long time, and
risk assessments you were doing.
Yeah, things like that. So, but script writing, I thought, but that's a really creative thing, and it's something I genuinely feel I'm really good at.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't feel anyone can do that as good as me. So how are we gonna? And then Ellie started here and wrote a script.
So it was better than
and
you.
I read it, and straight away I was like, oh shit, I'm not needed. Okay. And I think you have to have those things sometimes of like, and it's a bit of a...
You need the realisation, don't you? That, oh, I'm not perfect at everything.
I'm not the best at everything, because that would be ridiculous. There's everyone here is better at some of the stuff I do. Some people here are better than all the stuff I do. And I think,
okay, me.
You know, with your colleagues and everything like that, like if you're an employee of a business and you're going on holiday, I think a lot of people think, well, I'm going to have to read my emails each day. It's like... Susan sitting next to you probably can do everything you do next week. Like, I know maybe not exactly the way you want it, but I think be open to, if you were the only person that could do what you could do, you'd be earning millions because you'd be very sought after. And I know it's not saying like, oh, you're rubbish. Like it's for all of us. We can leave things to other people and get that balance of being able to switch off from work, I think.
Good.
Do you have a good work-life balance, Dan?
I don't think I've figured it out at all. I don't think...
You don't?
Well, no, I guess maybe I think that because I get a lot of fulfillment from work. So I guess I'm more skewed to the work side in terms of getting fulfillment out of life. But
from my point of view, if you recognise that and that's what you're doing, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I always feel like I can do a better job of being with my family and stuff and spending time with them. But in my mind, I think I feel like we are in our prime, and this is when, in my mind, I'm like, I want to work really hard now to be able to have the more freedom. But it's that balance, isn't it? Do you work really hard now and then have less time to do leisure stuff when you're young, but then when you're a bit older, you have more time, but then you're older, so you can't do as much stuff because you're...
If next week you worked less than this week, do you think you'd be happier?
No, I don't think so.
So I suppose you've got to think of family, haven't you? Because I'm just thinking, well, surely there's not a problem. Like you found your happy balance.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I suppose we all have people in our lives that maybe it's negative for.
Yeah, exactly. That's just thinking of what I want.
Yeah.
Like I've got a family and I've got to think of what's good for them as well. So it's having the balance of
the family unit rather than you as an individual.
Yeah. Like seeing my son more and spending time with him versus working.
I mean, your son is my nephew. His balance, I don't think is very good, because surely he should want to be with me more, but he just runs away from me when I try and hug him.
The thing that you do is you try and...
He's probably just run off. He's probably got work to do.
You like smother him with a cuddle and he's just like, doesn't want that.
I know. He doesn't want that.
He does run away from you, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But your son loves me and hugs me all the time more than he hugs you. So I don't know why that is. It's weird.
It is weird.
But yeah, so in summary, because this is your thing, what's your final kind of summary? What actions can people take, or what do you want people to take away from this episode?
Okay, first thing, actually think about and work out what's the balance that makes you happy with the challenges and benefits of both sides of inside and outside of work. Because someone on another podcast telling you what that balance is, they're bullshitters, because we're all different. And being open to the fact that maybe you are happiest when you're working 70 hours a week, like that's okay. Obviously, we said about the family thing and stuff. If you have that, then obviously you need to think about those things. But and also, if it's less and for you to perform best in your life inside and out of work, if you need to switch off more, which I know I need to, be open to that and adapt your situation to be able to do that. That would be my thing. And like I said, in summary, work out if you're someone that's working too much because you actually need to, or work out if you're someone who works too much because you just think you need to and actually you're not needed and you've just got a bit of an ego thinking you're the best at everything.
Great summary.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for that episode, Lloyd. I enjoyed that. And if you're listening and you've enjoyed this, please do tell other people about this podcast, because we want to grow the audience. And
if you know someone in your family or your friends and you think, do you know what? I don't think their work-life balance, they've got it set yet, and that this conversation might help them, then please, not to help them, but just to boost our numbers, share this podcast with them.
See you next week.
Bye.